Hello. Sorry for the mask. Uh, we're still in a pandemic, obviously. But anyway, I wanted to get back to you guys to talk about the next vision that I had, the one that I was talking about, storming the dragon's castle. Um, First of all, the thing I want to say about this is because is that I see God God gives me visions, right, through my dreams. And that's how he communicates with me and all that, right? So, something else that I'm realizing or I've been noticing is that not only God has access to me through my dreams, but the devil also has access to that channel. And he likes to throw his version of visions and dreams and stuff like that into the mix to try to confuse me. And you know, it's also another reason to not take it lightly, and it's also important to be able to tell the difference, you know, to notice the difference, you know. And one thing I realized about the difference is that, you know, when it's from the good guy, you don't feel or experience fear or, you know, feeling uncomfortable or stuff like that. And yeah, and vice versa. So I was gonna call this storming the dragon's castle, but now I decided I'm gonna call it deceptions from the father of lies, right? So this vision goes like this. I remember a couple days ago I had prayed to help me with my anger problem and to give me more patience and stuff like that. And you know, he must have heard and decided to try to confuse me, and by pretending to be pretty light kind of stuff, you know, metaphorically speaking. But it starts off with me walking around my old neighborhood, and it's nighttime, and I'm walking up the hill, and I'm realizing that, you know, I'm outside in the middle of the night, and supposedly my wife is at work. And I started thinking, like, so who's taking care of my son? And I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't tell. So I decided to start walking to my house. And as I'm walking to my house, I noticed a building that I don't recognize. And it's a really tall building, and it's painted in white. And I walk around the back of it, and I see that there's scaffolding, and it's in the back is missing paint. So it's not completely painted in white, but it's mostly painted in white. And then I decided to look up, and when I looked up, I noticed stars, and a lot of stars. But the one stars that stood out was the Orion's belt, which is the three stars. I noticed that clear as day, in the middle of the night. But anyway, and then out of nowhere, it was as if I was talking to someone, and I decided to say, "So show me then." I don't know who I was talking to, but I decided to say that. And by the way, I saw something in the middle of this dream or vision where I believe I wasn't supposed to see it, but I saw it. And it was a dragon with wings and walking around on its 2 feet. And I just saw it for a second, like probably not even that, like it happened so fast, and then I was back into the dream, wherever it was. It happened so fast I can't even tell what part of the dream I saw that, but I remember seeing it. And so as I'm looking up to the stars and I say, so show me then, out of nowhere, I start to float up, like levitate off the ground about 1 to 2 feet in the air. And as I start to levitate off the ground, that's as high as I went. And my arms were spread out to the side, both of them. And all of a sudden, the earth from underneath my feet started to roll. Like, it started moving so fast that I would see all the buildings and all the lights like whooshing, just passing me by so quickly. And as everything was passing by me so fast, it almost seemed as if I was falling back into the earth. Or have you ever seen those performers that would walk around on top of a ball, like a spiral ball? It was like that, but I wasn't touching the ground. I was off the ground, and the earth, the ground from underneath me was spinning before me. As simple as I can explain that. And then as that was happening, I could feel the force of the movement as it was almost as if I was traveling around the planet, like at very high velocity. And at the same time, I start to turn. My body was slowly turning 180 or 160, I have no clue. It was like if I was facing the number 12 on a clock, and then I turned slowly to face the number 6. That's the best way I could explain it. And when I finally reached that other side, that number 6 direction, I came to a stop. And when I came to a stop, all of a sudden, I find myself, I would say, on the other side of the planet or in another dimension, one or the other. Because where I was, it was daytime and there were mountains everywhere and they were all covered in snow. The floor was covered in snow. The mountain was covered in snow. Everything was covered in snow. And there was a woman there waiting for me. And a guy. Right? And then I go up to her and she says, "Follow me." So I'm like, okay, I'll follow you. And as I'm following her, and we're going up the hills, through the alleys, up the mountain, down the mountain, over rocks. And it was a long journey, but I never got tired. And we finally come to a stop at this place called, not called, but when we got to our destination, I saw a castle, and it was made of stone and all that stuff, and it had the wooden double doors with the metal hinges on it. And she told me, I gotta be careful what I show you because you're not allowed to see certain things. So I'm like, why is that? And she said, or I said, is it because I'm not dead yet? And she basically said, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I was like, okay, sure. And we decided to go into the castle through the side in the bottom. And it was like a long narrow bridge, and then the doors at the end, the double doors. And before we got to the castle, we went somewhere around the castle where we came across a site, and the site changed right before my eyes and her eyes and the guy, and it changed so fast that I couldn't see what it was before it, but I saw what it changed into. It looked like if I was underwater and the water was gone. So I could see the sand, the rocks, the reef, the coral. It looked like an underwater scene, but minus the water, you know. And then she says, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, there's certain things you're not allowed to see. I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And then we continue on, and we come across this narrow bridge that's on the ground. And as I'm walking towards it, I see the double wooden doors, and she seems to have the keys to all these doors that she's opening up. And as we go in, we go inside, and she's like opening like 5 doors in a row. Like, it was a lot of doors that she was opening, and a lot of turns and rooms that we were going through and all this. And through all of this, the guy that was with us departs from us. He goes his own way, and he like if we were on a bus and he got off on his stop and we kept going, you know. And she, just metaphor. And this lady appeared to be like some sort of a guide, or like a delivery service, you understand? And so as we're going up the levels, I noticed that there were like 3 levels, and instead of numbers on each floor, there were symbols on each floor. And the first floor, I realized there was a symbol of a circle with a fire emblem in the middle of it. So it was like a circle with a symbol of a fire in the middle of it, and similar to something I've seen before. And the next level we went up, it was another circle with another symbol in it. I can't really tell what that one was. I can't remember. And then the third floor, it was a circle with a symbol in it, and it appeared to be like a half a moon, and what it looked like to me. And we got off on that one. And while we were on that floor, like it looked crazy, like the inside of a castle would look like, I guess, because I never been inside a castle, but I have a feeling of what it might look like after this. So as we're in this floor, she leads me to an elevator, and I get on the elevator with her, and I notice on her neck she has a tattoo of a scorpion, and on the back of her neck she had a tattoo of like some kind of a circle with a symbol, but I couldn't really tell what it was because her collar was covering it halfway. So I just saw it sticking out the back of her neck, but I couldn't really tell what it was complete. I just know it was a circle. And so I asked her what her name was. She said her name was Nikki, but her real name is Nicholas. And I was like, okay. And she told me to brace myself, to get ready, as we were like reaching our destination in the elevator. And then I tell her I want to try to be careful, because I don't want to move too much, because I might wake myself up by accident. So I knew I was dreaming, or I knew I was in the middle of a vision. You know what I mean? Like, I was aware of what was going on, and where I was and what I was doing. And I just knew she wanted to show me something or tell me something. And then she looks at me and she says, I want you to read in the Bible the book of Romans. And she says, I want you to be patient while you read it. And I was like, okay. That was, in my mind, I'm like, that's like pretty straightforward, like pretty direct. And in real life, I haven't read the book of Romans. I don't know what's the book of Romans about up until this point, because I guarantee you after I woke up, I read it. But at that point, I haven't read it. I didn't know anything about it. And so we get out the elevator, and we start walking towards like it was like the side of the building or the side of the castle, and it was a room that was located inside like a pillar, like the round part of the castle that goes up. And then I went in there, and the room was round, and it had a window in the far end of it with a curve, with an arch on the top, and the sun was shining through it, or the light was coming through it, or whatever. And in the middle of the room there was a plant, like about 4 feet tall, maybe a little less. But the cool thing about the plant was it was unlike any plant I've ever seen, ever. The thing about it is that it had leaves, like regular leaves on it, but the colors of the leaves were incredible. They were the color red, well, the color blue, yellow, green, and red, like those 4 colors. And I remember red being like towards the bottom. And yeah, it was beautiful, man. And then, but the crazy thing is that on the right side of the room there was another like archway, and it was like another room back, but it was dark inside the room, but I could see some kind of a light inside the room, like if it was a dark room and somebody had a television on. That's what it looked like. But I didn't see no television. I just knew there was a room and there was some kind of light coming out of it, from it. But it was super dark, and there was a man sitting inside there. And I noticed him right away before I walked in that room. But my eyes were drawn to the plant that was in the middle of the room, and that took my focus off of him. And I saw that, and I was like, man, this is beautiful. This is amazing. Like what I'm looking at. Like I didn't really care too much about him or what his intentions were. Yeah. And so he comes out the room, and she presents me to him, and he's like thrilled to see me, like excited to see me, but in a creepy way. Like excited to see me, but I wasn't excited to see him. You know, it was just a very uncomfortable feeling that was coming off of him. And it was only a one-way street. Like it wasn't on. Like I was happy to see him, he was happy to see me. It was like if she delivered me, like if he ordered for me and she delivered me. That's what it seemed like. And then when he came towards me, he came to grab me, and that's when I got uncomfortable, and I overpowered him. Somehow I overpowered him, and I start folding him up, like inwards, like if I was to take a piece of paper and start folding it into little squares until I make a really small square. That's what I was basically doing to him, to his body. And when he would try to like expand himself, like try to get out of it, I would hit him, and then it would hurt him, and then I'll keep folding him up again, even smaller, to the point to where I folded him up so much that she pulled out a book bag out of nowhere. I don't know if she had it on her already or what, but she pulled out a book bag, and she told me to put him in the book bag. So I stick him in the book bag, I shove him in there, and she zips him up. She zips him closed, and then she puts him in the book. We put him in the book bag, and then she puts the book bag on, and we start leaving the castle. And on our way out, she tells me, I don't feel comfortable wearing this. Would you carry it for me? And I said, sure, I'll carry it for you, no problem. And so I carried it for her, and then as I'm walking out and we're leaving the castle, I wake up out of nowhere, and I'm like, yeah, that was another vision. Like I already know. And I thought it was from God. It's just, that's the thing about the bad guy. He liked to use cosmetics, you know, in dreams and visions to make you seem like it's from God. But it wasn't from God. But God allowed it. You know what I mean? But God's plan is bigger than anything the devil could use against me. The devil will try to plan something, and he'll use that plan against him. You know, like he'll use your own plan against yourself, if that makes any sense. But anyway, it didn't occur to me till later on to read Romans. And as I go to Romans, I accidentally, look, I'll show you. I accidentally where's Romans? Roman. I Should have came prepared, huh? I'm sorry. Just bear with me for a second. Okay. I guess I gotta find this like this. Romans 15:35. All right, hold on. Don't leave me just yet. So I'm going like this, trying to find Romans, and then I find it, but I land on the second page, which is which is Romans 2 verse 7, and I come across this because I saw the word patience on here. That was like the first thing I saw. And it says, to them who be patient, continuance in well-doing, seek for glory and honor and immortality, eternal life. So I was like that's pretty crazy, you know? And then as I'm reading and I'm looking around, there's more stuff here about patience. If I could find it. Let me see. Sorry. Oh, look, it says Romans 5 verse, I'm gonna start from verse 2. By whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of God. Verse 3. And not only so, but we glory in tribulation also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then not only that, as I start to read it in the beginning, I come across this part. Look, it's Romans 1. I'm gonna start from Romans 1:19. And it says, because that which may be known of God is manifested in them, for God hath showed it unto them. Verse 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened. And that really struck a chord with me. That really like messed me up a little bit, and I felt like kind of guilty after that, and it messed with my head. That night I didn't read the whole thing. I just got messed up on that, and I was like, man, is it like talking to me? Is he trying to tell me something, you know? And that's what the devil was trying to do, to make me feel bad and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? Like, make me doubt myself and things like that. And yeah, it really screwed me up. But I read the whole thing, and I kind of rushed through it. I wasn't really patient about it. But it was interesting. Romans is interesting. I'll read it again later next time when I get a chance. Right now, I'm reading Genesis. I'm enjoying Genesis. Genesis is really dope. If you haven't read Genesis or haven't finished it, you guys should really look into that one. Sorry this video is so long. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to show you, how the good and the bad, can be and all that. But, whenever you have a bad dream or anything like that, you should immediately just get on your knees and pray to God and tell him about it, or tell him to cancel it and take it away, and to not let it affect you and stuff like that, and stuff like that, but yeah, hope you guys are doing good. I'm doing good, and God bless you, and may God bless me. And read your Bible, man. It's amazing. Like I didn't really read too much today, but because I got carried away with like YouTube and stuff. But I'm gonna definitely read some more tonight before bed. And I'm curious to know what my uncle is reading. He's been going to church. He's been a Christian for like almost his whole life, and he's probably like 60, 70 years old. And I'm pretty sure he's finished the Bible, but he still reads it. So I'm curious to know what he's reading, or what he's looking into, or what, you know. I'm just curious. I've always been that way, I guess. Just like if you finish a book and you're still reading it, like what are you reading about? I'm curious to know. I don't know. I'm born that way, I guess. But anyway, I hope everything is good. I'm not trying to make this too long. This is probably my longest video yet, but it's very unique in its own way. And yeah, it took me about a week to be able to share this. I just want to make sure. I honestly don't want to do anything anymore without asking God for it, for permission, and putting Him first and stuff like that, you know, with everything, no matter what it is. But I just need to remember Him, you know, and thank God for what He's done with my life, man. I was so lost without God, man. It's amazing. These last 5 months has been amazing with Him. With Jesus. Don't get it twisted. With Jesus. You know, these last 5 months with Jesus has been amazing. I can't even explain it to you. Where have you been my whole life? Anyway, take care. God bless. May God bless me. See you on the next one.